What is up, guys? It is Joe. We're back. We're talking ball about the Cats, specifically K-State basketball, as they made a midseason pickup through the transfer portal. In case you missed it, it is a big story to talk about. K-State adds Memphis transfer Tyreek Smith to the roster. We'll talk about my thoughts about it, about the addition, everything, so on and so forth. But before I do, quick reminder to subscribe. It is the quickest way to help this YouTube channel grow, and I appreciate it. There's no way around admitting it. This weekend sucked for K-State fans. I drank a lot of beer. It got a little bit better that way. But the point is, there's good things ahead. I'm not going to try to sell you and say we're winning a title and, whatever the case is. The K-State football season, probably not looking at a championship berth. It's very, very little percentage there. Basketball, they lost LSU. That stunk. But I'm not ready to sell on the team yet. I'm not going to sit here and do that after 3 games. I'm not insane. That being said, let's talk about this addition. The first thing I should mention with Tyreek Smith, he's been at 4 different programs. He started at Texas Tech or Oklahoma State, one of the two, flipped to the other. Went to SMU, played his full season in 2023-24, and this season was set to go to Memphis. At Memphis, there was an NIL dispute. He didn't get paid properly, whatever the case is. It's all alleged from what I understand, but he hits the portal again after not playing a single game for Memphis. He comes to Kansas State and is planning to redshirt this season and play the following year in 2025-2026. Now I'm going to start the highlights rolling here. This is all from his time at SMU. There's some really good stuff in here. I'm not going to lie. Originally watching it, I was a little bit, maybe not underwhelmed, but I didn't know if this was something that K-State was actually exploring or if it was something where, okay, the kid's just tossing the name out there because Kansas State's, solid in their NIL, whatever the case is. But it turns out K-State's interested and they picked the dude up. It's a cool addition, man. I'm not going to lie here. I know it's still a year and some change away till he takes the court for Kansas State, but I think his impact is still going to be noted this season. Now, I'll talk about all that and more. Let me start with his stats. It's probably the best place to go to here. The 6'6" senior is 223 pounds. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He averaged 8.2 points per game and 5.4 boards on 58.4% shooting. That was all done in 19 minutes per game. This isn't a full 40-minute stat line, something crazy like that. And actually, just for a fun reference, because I like doing stuff like this, his 40-minute splits are 16.5 points per game and 10.8 rebounds per game. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to play 40 minutes every single game. I'm not going to be that guy. But you see the idea. The dude is a ferocious, energizing glass cleaner that moves well defensively. And honestly, for a team like Kansas State, energy seems to be a consistent thing with this team. Whether it's this team, last team, 2022 team was ready to roll, but I think that's also a byproduct of having more success off the rip. This team needs a little bit of juice. They need a little bit of energy. I think where he's going to show up big in this specific season is having a guy that's going to out-rebound you or focus up, whatever the case is, push you to your limits in practice is always a good thing. You need tough dudes on the scout team, tough dudes that are going to work their tail off and understand, hey, if I can beat Coleman Hawkins to a rebound, if I can beat a Chor to a rebound, it's one of two things. It's either, okay, I'm outworking them, I'm more athletic than them, whatever the case is, or they need to show up more. This is a good thing because you sit there as Coleman Hawkins or as a Chor and say, I'm not letting these dudes beat me. And then you do that every single day in practice. It paves way to success on the basketball court. And I think that's something that's going to be underrated off the rip. Is just having another dude that's going to fight and compete in practice every single day. I know they've got some guys on that roster. Taj Manning's been a make of consistency in terms of the scout team, but you get to see some dudes that want to work. That's a good thing to see. Now, it goes without saying he's got 1 year of eligibility remaining, so it's smart not to burn his year this season. I do think he's technically able to play this season just as an NIL walk-on. I know some people have said, well, there's not enough scholarships. I don't think he needs to be on scholarship. I think he can walk on as an NIL dude, which I think is what's happening right now. And I'm fairly certain the same thing happened with Spencer Bain. He could be on scholarship. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm not the eligibility guru. I don't know all this stuff, but he's either at Kansas State with the possibility of playing, but is not playing. He's shut down for the year, or he's at Kansas State and actually NCAA regulations prevent him from playing. It's one of those two things. I've seen the reaction to both people being like, let's have him play this season. Let's get him immediately. Let's get him out there. He can't hurt. I've also seen people being like, kind of on the fence about the ad. I'm somewhere in between. I think it's a solid ad. It's a solid depth piece. I don't know that I see him as a guy that's going to be a Keontae Johnson level scorer or something like that, but you see the exciting part of hey, this is a dude that's going to compete. He's going to give you his all 100% every single night and show up on the rebound stat sheet, show up on the points around the rim. I think there's some good there. And there's good in that for having another guy in practice that can do that. I don't know when he shows up on campus or how that works really at the mid-season transfer portal stuff, but as a prospect coming out of high school, let me read you some of his stats. Coming out of Trinity Christian High School in 2019, he was the nation's 142nd ranked player, the 22nd ranked player at his position, and the 14th ranked player in Texas. He's a 3-star prospect. And one thing that I think is kind of interesting is ESPN, so the regular ESPN stat list, has him listed at 6'6", 223. Even now, 24/7 has him at 6'8", and that's the difference, 225, 6'8". So I actually don't know what height he is. We'll split the difference and say 6'7", I guess, but he plays big, he plays above the rim, he's an athletic dude, and definitely has some game about him, so I'm definitely not mad about that. I don't know much about him outside of that. I know he's had some successful seasons in the past, but played, a ton of games in his career. 29 his freshman year, 30 his sophomore year, 36 junior year, and then 33 last season as a senior. Hasn't ever played more than 20 minutes a game or 19.2 minutes a game, but you see that he has some game about him, and that's the biggest thing. An energy guy off the bench, or however this team sees him, it's going to be something up to the coaching staff, but I think just having another dude ready to roll, that's a plus. It's depth, he's athletic, he's an energy guy. That stuff rubs off on you in practice, so I think he'll be able to impact this year's squad, even if he's not taking the court, but I like the idea. I like that they're still out there trying to recruit, trying to get better every single year, so something cool to see with Tyreek Smith, and conveniently it gives K-State the #1 portal class in the country in the 2025-2026 transfer portal class. Considering we're the first people to add anybody, it's a big deal. You're starting at the top, stay at the top. That's all I got to say about that. But folks, that's going to do it for today's video. Quick reminder to subscribe. Appreciate all the support on the channel. But overall, thanks for the support. I appreciate you rocking with us each day. Have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Go Cats.